So I believe that team coaching, philosophically starts out with the assumption that the team has the wisdom, the resources, and the potential that can be tapped into, and that our role is to support them into tapping into that. Another assumption is that it's their agenda and their work to do. So if I'm working extremely hard on gathering up a load of clever tools and theories, if I'm bringing them to the team, if I'm designing the agenda, if I'm designing a workshop, then I'm probably doing more work than them. Let's face it, in one-to-one coaching, listeners who are one-to-one coaches are probably very unlikely to have gone, okay, I've got my coaching client at 3:00 this afternoon. At 3:00, we're going to do a little bit of contracting. At 3:10, we're going to do an assessment tool. 3:20, we're going to break that down and see what awareness comes from that. By 4:00, we'll start grounding that out into some actions. We may do a few exercises. We don't pre-design sessions because then we're not following what wants to emerge from deeper down inside the client, from what they're not even aware of. And that's one of the challenges of these pre-designed, predetermined team coaching processes that are so attached to following an agenda and a model that they often don't get to the real nerve ends of what's happening in a team. So another tenet is that teams change happens from raising awareness. In Gestalt, it's called the paradoxical theory of change. I think that's just a beautiful phrase, because it is paradoxical. The more we make contact with what is, the more we become aware of what's really happening, the greater energy and potentiality is for change. I'll give you a crude example. Imagine that you've been walking down the road for a while and you've only just become aware that there's a slight limp on your right foot. And then you pay a little bit of attention to that and you go, hey, hang on a minute, I think I've got a stone in my shoe. Damn. Oh, I've only got half a mile to go. I'll carry on walking. I'll take it out when I get there. It's a boot after all. It's going to be a pain to take it off now. And you walk another 100 yards and you go, this stone really is annoying. And in fact, I think I'm starting to get a blister. I'd really better do something about it. And it's when the pain point's high enough, or when the appetite is high enough, the energy to move towards change is high enough, that change happens naturally. It's a natural human phenomena. So instead of beginning with a diagnostic tool that measures a gap, plays back to a team, and in my experience, they often dissociate from that. They go, well, they blame the tool. The tool's measuring the wrong things, or we only answered it that way because of blah, blah, blah. We're working with generating awareness in a way that's really connected to the energetic of the team. So the team can really make contact with what's working and what's hindering their effectiveness. And to do that, we've got to be able to really hold the space well and to work emergently and in the here and now. So these are other tenets of team coaching. Team coaching is about heightening awareness. Change comes from that heightened awareness. The energy for change comes from that heightened awareness and moves a team towards a natural flow of completion through a piece of learning or developmental work. Now, a team may have a whole array of different, what we call units of work, different pieces of development that they need to work on. Our role as a coach is to help them identify those themes, those areas of work, and to see each one through rather than try and tackle them all at once. So we separate out a bit of the learning so they can focus on one thing and really see that through till it's sustainably transferred, becoming a normal part of the team's way of working. So another tenet is that the learning hasn't happened until it's transferred into the everyday, until we're no longer thinking about the stone in the shoe. Yeah, that's when we know transformation has happened. Whereas so often learning's measured like a happy sheet at the end of an event. That means I've learned something cognitively. I've got a new model in my head or an idea, but it's a long way from integration. So that the work is done once it's integrated, once the transformation has happened, and that transformation will happen around many different units of work, and we need to, in a sophisticated way, help them with that journey. Another tenet is that us human beings are naturally inclined to resist change. It's not us being difficult. It's not complicated human dynamics. It's not something to scapegoat an individual team member around. It's natural resistance. And team members become aware of what needs to change at a different pace. So one team member may be really on board with the necessary change whilst another team member is resisting. So the sophisticated coach really needs to learn to work effectively and in a humane way with that resistance, rather than trying to push the team forward until the resistance is understood, and without letting the resistance holding the team back from the true transformation they want to make. And then I'll give you one more tenet. There's several more actually, but I'll give you one more that I think is really important. A legend in development was a chap called Bill O'Brien from Hanover Insurance. He gets quoted in a number of different books because, in a very profound way, he said the success of an intervention is down to the interior conditions of the intervener. The success of an intervention is down to the interior conditions of the intervener. Whereas we kid ourselves that it's about having the tool, the latest shiny tool, the best researched model of effectiveness or performance. It's down to the methodology and having the right facilitator's guide or exercise. That may play a part. I'm not saying it doesn't play a part. But if you're really going to be brave and work at the point of contact with a team, point of contact with where their true needs are, which is often under the surface of all the stuff you can bring in a predesigned kind of way, then the work is really on yourself as a coach, less on the theoretical models and exercises, and more on your capacity to stay with discomfort rather than to step in and fix and solve. That is a similar journey to the growth journey from a starter coach, ACC level coach, to an MCC level coach and beyond. It's all about growing our capacity to work emergently, to work in the here and now, to raise awareness and to manage our own anxieties around performance.